That day, I was taking a walk in the park. Suddenly, a dog walked past me, carrying a chicken drumstick in its mouth. After a short while, the dog headed toward the river. I stood not far away, quietly watching. Just as my curiosity started to grow, it suddenly dashed back into view again. The dog seemed completely absorbed in whatever it was doing. Occasionally, it would lift its head and glance in my direction. Its eyes were full of friendliness and warmth, as if it were quietly sharing a little secret of its own. I didn't disturb it. The dog slowly walked toward me before I could even react. It naturally lifted one paw and gently placed it on my hand, like we were sharing a perfectly timed little interaction. I froze for a moment, then couldn't help but smile. This unexpected little moment instantly lifted my mood. I quickly took out my phone to capture it, afraid of missing such a lifelike moment. The dog not only looked beautiful, its fur was clean and smooth, and it gave off a calm and gentle vibe. Its behavior also felt surprisingly intuitive, as if it was very used to interacting with people. It would look at me from time to time, gently wagging its tail. The whole scene felt especially natural and heartwarming, like a simple yet comforting everyday moment, a chance encounter that was hard not to get immersed in. Suddenly, as if remembering something, it turned and trotted toward the river. Its movements weren't rushed, but clearly had a purpose. Curious, I followed along from a distance. From afar, I saw the dog come to a stop. And immediately, a group of tiny figures gathered around it. The puppies rushed over and began nursing. Each little puppy looked round, fluffy, and incredibly cute. They were still a bit unsteady on their feet. Some wobbled around, while others clumsily squeezed together, occasionally stopping to look around curiously. The whole scene felt lively, yet adorably clumsy. The mother dog stood surrounded by them. The moment felt natural and warm. I stood there, watching quietly, and couldn't help but smile. It was one of those small, unexpected moments in life that even sparked a playful thought in my mind. Didn't the dog run off earlier, just to show me the scene? Those little ones gathered around her, clumsy yet affectionate, adding a soft, comforting feeling to the entire moment. I quickly took out my phone and recorded the moment in full. Scenes like this feel like a small window quietly opening in everyday life, making you pause for just a moment to enjoy a bit of ease and warmth. I slowly reached out my hand and offered it to the mother dog. She didn't rush to come closer. Instead, she looked at me first, then gently stepped closer. Carefully, she took the treat with great caution. The whole process felt natural and unhurried, making it easy to relax just watching. Before long, those round little pups nearby seemed drawn to the moment. One by one, they gathered around. They were still a bit unsteady, clumsy yet adorable. One of them wobbled over and squeezed in beside its mom. Suddenly, the quiet scene came to life, as if the air itself felt a little lighter and more playful. Just like that, I spent almost the whole morning in the park with them. Time slipped by without me even noticing, and the atmosphere around us became especially peaceful, like a completely stress-free moment of everyday life. Just as I packed up and was about to head home, to my surprise, the mother dog and her little followers came trotting after me, tails wagging. Their steps were a little clumsy, but carried a quiet sense of closeness, as if this short time together had already made us familiar. I couldn't help but stop and look back. A slightly playful thought crossed my mind. If they wanted to, maybe I could invite them to come along and visit, and let this easy moment continue a little longer. Of course, it was just a passing thought. The choice was theirs. I would let them decide. So I simply kept walking forward, occasionally turning back to see if they were still following. That subtle distance between us made the moment feel even more natural and interesting, like a story without a sad ending. What would happen next was left to time and these lovely little companions. And just like that, these adorable little ones naturally became part of our daily life. They've now become an irreplaceable part of the home. Early this morning, the yard was already full of their energy. As soon as the sunlight came in, they were awake, running around on the little beds and cushions prepared for them, rolling over, tumbling, sometimes piling up together. Even their big bed made soft little sounds. That kind of pure, unfiltered joy seemed to light up the whole space. I couldn't help but pause and quietly watch from the side, simply enjoying the moment. That feeling is hard to put into words. It's a simple yet very real sense of contentment. Who would have thought that a chance meeting in the park would turn into the kind of everyday life now filled with companionship? Life used to be quiet. The days moved along in a steady rhythm. I would wake up in the morning and go about my day. Everything was orderly. but it felt like something was missing. The yard was peaceful, yet somehow a little too quiet. And now, everything feels different. Mornings no longer begin in silence, but with lively little sounds. Small figures now run back and forth across the yard, and the air feels more lively and easygoing. Sometimes they gather around me in little circles, and other times they play on their own. Every little moment makes me want to stop and watch a little longer. This change hasn't been dramatic, but little by little, it has quietly changed the rhythm of life. Before I knew it, a whole week had quietly passed. Looking back at these little ones now, they had already changed a lot from when I first met them. They had grown a little bigger, and their movements had become much more agile. The wobbly way they used to walk had already turned into little runs. Even though they still slipped now and then, it only made them look even more adorably clumsy. Throughout the week, they explored the world in their own way every day. Some of them especially loved chasing their own tails in circles, only to stop and look confused after spinning around, as if trying to figure out what had just happened. Others were curious about every little new thing, whether it was a fallen leaf in the yard or a small stone on the ground. They would study it seriously for quite a while. Sometimes they would even compete over who got to claim a leaf. The whole scene was lively and a little funny. What made it even more interesting was how much more they started interacting with each other. Sometimes they would chase each other in circles around the yard, and other times they would suddenly stop and huddle together in a little group, as if having their own tiny conversation that only they could understand. Every now and then, one puppy would suddenly start a challenge. Their carefree playfulness was impossible not to smile at, and the mother dog was still often nearby, quietly keeping them company. Sometimes she would join in with them, and sometimes she would simply watch them play. Every so often, she would gently move closer and calm down the little ones who got a bit too excited. The whole scene felt both natural and harmonious. The changes over this week weren't the kind that happened all at once. Instead, they've built up little by little through these small, real moments. They've become more and more energetic and are starting to show their own little personalities in seemingly ordinary details. Actually make everyday life feel more vivid and interesting, and make you look forward to what might happen next. Before I knew it, it was already the 10th day with them by my side. I had just finished a long day and still felt a bit tired. But the moment I walked into the room, I felt instantly better. The little ones had already noticed me. Each of them looked at me with bright, eager eyes. That open and genuine anticipation made me relax right away. I sat down on the bed, and they immediately gathered around me. In that moment, it felt like all the busyness and fatigue stayed outside the door. No words were needed. Being surrounded by these little lives was already comforting enough. Their presence is simple, yet it brings a pure sense of companionship. I gradually felt myself calming down. It's hard to describe this feeling in detail. It's more like being gently wrapped in warmth. The tension slowly fades away, and even my thoughts become softer. Time itself seems to slow down. There's no pressure, no burden. Just a quiet and steady sense of ease. Maybe it's this kind of unconditional companionship that feels especially healing. They don't ask what you've been through today, nor do they interfere with your emotions. They simply stay by your side in the most natural way, and that alone is enough to make you feel content. In just 10 days, this change has quietly taken place. An ordinary daily life now carries a steady and warm sense of comfort. Before I knew it, it was their snack time again. The moment I took out the treats, they gathered around. The little ones, who were just doing their own things, suddenly became completely focused. Their eyes followed every movement I made. That mix of focus and anticipation made me slow down. They were no longer as lively as during playtime, but instead showed patience and attention, as if this moment meant something special to them. Every small movement felt deliberate, as if they were responding to this simple interaction in their own way. Moments like this always feel especially calm. There's no noise, no complicated emotions, just a pure and simple connection. Watching them so focused, I naturally slow down too. The clutter in my mind slowly fades away, leaving only a sense of ease and calm. Maybe it's this kind of simple, direct interaction that feels especially comforting. There's nothing dramatic about it. Yet you can feel a quiet understanding slowly forming. Time feels softer in this moment. All my attention is focused on these small little figures. And this kind of warmth quietly becomes one of the most anticipated parts of daily life. Early this morning, just as the sky was beginning to lighten, the usually calm mother dog had already returned from her walk. She seemed very used to this rhythm, taking a slow walk around the yard every day, sometimes following the same familiar route, as if enjoying a quiet moment of her own, adding a natural sense of routine to the day. And every time she appears, the scene instantly becomes lively. The puppies, who were doing their own thing, always notice her right away. One by one, they gather around her. Some circle around her, others follow closely behind. Their small bodies bunching together. The scene feels a little chaotic, yet full of closeness. Their sense of reliance is obvious. As long as she's there, they naturally move closer, as if simply being near her makes them feel at ease. Watching from the side, you realize this kind of bond doesn't need to be expressed, yet it feels incredibly natural and real, making you slow down without even noticing, and quietly sink into this everyday moment.